participating in. So welcome to everyone and Shabbat Shalom. We have so many guests today, and those who are unfamiliar with the traditional service that we are singing and doing and practicing today. And I just want to fill them in a little bit about what we're up to. And it's always a good reminder for the rest of us as well. I invite those who obviously can't follow in Hebrew. If it makes you feel any better, most of we Jews can't follow everything in the Hebrew either. But I invite you to think about it like when my father took me, because he loved opera and played opera every Shabbat for hours. When I finally was a high school student, he invited me to go to the opera with him. And I couldn't understand any of the Italian. And I could feel a little bit of the majesty of what it meant to see opera in person. I could hear singing and I could understand that she was heartbroken and he was upset. And and sometimes I'm like, I want to go home and listen to this, especially when it's raining hard. And I think I know what they're saying. It's a lot like the service, and the service is very much, it is in 3 or 4 acts. It has an introduction and epilogue. And so we've already gone through Act 1, which Ron Sussman, as usual, really did beautifully, which is, it's sort of the music that plays before the first scene appears. It's the music of where we're silent and we're feeling and thinking and putting ourselves in the position of the Psalms, of feeling where are we in our connection to God? What emotions are we feeling? And it's mostly silent, getting ourselves ready. It's preliminary and punctuated by someone who's feeling it and showing us what the melody of our hearts should be right now. And then Eileen took over and she led us through Act 2. And Act 2 was the what we call the morning service. And it was, now that I'm in a state of listening and in a state of feeling and hearing the melodies of the music of my heart and of our hearts, then I want to hear the sounds of all of creation, all of nature. Everything alive is part of the music, and I want to hear that song. And then I want to hear the song of everything that's made of energy, and that's where I said read the transliteration and sing along, all the various Hebrew words, biblical words for energy and light, and how that everything, including us and the galaxies that are made of light and energy, are in song, are making frequencies of sound, and we want to hear that sound as well. And then we added in Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzvaot, words of the angels, that there's another sphere, that a dimension that intersects of our own, which is that there are invisible dimensions that are singing along, that we should be straining to hear. And then Eileen led us in the Shema, which says, listen, everyone, to our God. Listen to the sound of our God. Listen to the voice of our God. Then we sang before in our silent prayers, we sang that may everyone be free. We wouldn't be able to be having this experience if we weren't rescued from slavery. So the call for justice and rescuing others is paramount. For freedom precedes the ability to fully flourish in our connection to others and to God and to this world. And then we went into the Amidah, that silent prayer, thinking of our inheritance, of what it means to spend time with those we love in holy time of Shabbat, the inheritance that we pass on to our children, of holidays, of the sanctification of time, for a reverence for their ancestors and their wisdom, and the possibilities that they're inviting us to in our lives. And that brings us to this moment. And in this moment, we are getting ready for Act 3, which is the Torah service. We recreate Mount Sinai here on the Bima. You all are Israelites. If you don't want to be an Israelite, you're part of the mixed multitude. You're the non-Jew who's celebrating with the Israelites and enthusiastic as well. And Sonia is our Moses for the day. We reenacted. It's part of. Why is that funny? I think it makes perfect sense to me. So Sonia is just saying, I want to be Moses. That's good for me. And no, so it is an opera where we're doing as if not as if, it is alive. It's alive. This is not a rehearsal of a museum performance. This is alive for us today. And Sonia brings Torah to us. And she's going to chant the Shema. We'll chant after her because she's Moses. She's going to hold that Torah and sing that. And then she's going to bring it to us as we parade around to the Israelites. And then she's going to bring it to us with her voice, and then with her thoughts and her teaching. She'll teach Torah to us in her speech, in her sermon, in her Devar Torah, and her words. And that's where we're at in this service. And then we'll have time for to bless the month that's upcoming, and then final prayers, which Sonia will also lead, which is sort of a featuring of, I don't know if that's the epilogue or the final act. It picks up all the motifs that have occurred before, some of the melodies, a lot of the same words, and gives us a chance to relive those prayers, except with the perspective that we've gained through the experience of today. So I invite you into that. There are also